Hi, Audrey. Welcome to What's Your Next podcast.
So happy to be here.
So happy to have you here. Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, well, first you'll probably know me from Bookish AF. It's where you found me on Substack on the newsletter. It's all about book recs, the joy of reading, everything that I can put in there to make it fun, but quick and skimmable. But I've been at this for a while since my kids were little. I have an elementary education degree, so I was a teacher. And I was a preschool teacher, which I just absolutely love. But I had my son, he was 2.5, and I found out I was having twins. So I wound up staying home. They're boy and girl twins, and everybody's grown now. My son just graduated college. At that time, I was home with the twins, and I was reading a lot. My mom always loved to read. My grandmom loved stories. We always liked, so it was always a part of me. And so I had to leave to stay home to be with all of them because getting them all into the car and down to the preschool wasn't happening. Yes. So I started writing, and I have 2 ebooks out there that I just self-published. I did hire a line editor, and I realized I had nobody to read it, so I started blogging a long time ago. My gosh, it was all the way back. It was Blogger, I think it was called, through Google.
Yeah. Remember that. I was Virgo too. I was in the healthy living space at the time. I was like, oh, it's going to be a healthy living one. You know, it was either mommy bloggers. It was like,
Right.
we were all in trying to make sense of life, solving our issues by writing.
Right. That's what I was doing. Like, whatever. Oh, books. Or this happened in my life. Or it was so random. I didn't really know. And it kind of got me into that. I started getting some ghostwriting assignments for other people, other bloggers, just to pay bills a little bit. So I did wind up going back and teaching at a preschool for a little while till COVID wiped that out. It was locals, and so I decided I'm going to start this Substack.
Yeah.
And before that, I wrote for my husband's family. I wrote this book, Until Next Sunday. It's behind me here.
Yeah.
And that was based on true story. They're like, you're a writer. So there was these letters. They were from their grandmother, but they were written in Italian.
Yeah.
And so they needed them translated. And so got them translated, and they read. It was between the grandmother and the grandfather. And they were like, there's like a whole love story here. So they needed somebody to turn it, just kind of piece it together and maybe add some fiction in between, because obviously. So the real letters are in there. And I decided, we worked together to decide which letters, and I pieced in between. So it's historical fiction, but it's real too. It's a real story. All the letters are real, except for translated. So that got me into writing stories again. So right now I'm working on a new book, but it's just been a little bit, I've been taking some time because going through this editing process, I have got to learn some things.
Yeah.
So it's been a little bit of three balls in the air between ghostwriting for clients, just income coming in, the Substack that I'm trying to grow that I'm so excited about, because now it's such an important time to get people back into books and reading. And so the more I get into it and the more I realize how helpful and uplifting having a reading habit is.
Yeah.
So that's been, and I thought if I want someone to help promote me, I want to be a person that helps promote other authors too. So recently, like this last book list, I featured an author, and she reached out and thanked me, because you know what I mean? And that feels good to me. So I wanted to kind of forward. So that's what I'm doing. And then writing the next book, which is still in the messy first draft, but I'm learning that's what you're supposed to do.
It's supposed to be really messy. It's supposed to be full of TK, as they say in journalism, and which is too calm. It's super or leave yourself notes like, you make something out of this. Think about it.
Yes.
Do something.
Yes.
So picture. I love the fact that Substack has become that place for all these old school bloggers, like Millennial, Gen X, or people who were actually in the trenches in the aughts. You try to do this, and it's big coming back to the idea, because for a while in the 2010s, it was like SEO, it was like keyword, it was like right for the audience, and then like you lost a personal touch, and Substack allow us to bring back the personal touch to talk about, oh no, I lived through this, or I know that this is why this book list is the most important one, not because of the books, but because I actually enjoy these books, and this is why it actually makes change in my life, and why it should change your life too.
Exactly. And I love reading other people's things and their takes on it. And I've learned so much just being on Substack and following other people's accounts and their thoughts about books and what touched them and uplift. Because before that, I had a blog on my website and it was lonely.
Yes, it's so lonely. And like, you got a community, you got other people doing the same thing. It just reminds me of, you remember when where there used to be blog rolls where we used to
Oh,
actually go
yeah.
back, or we would go back to each other and say, like, we'll leave each other's comments and stuff. And it was like a
Yes.
genuine relationship. That's how Substack felt. Because I was, right before we were recording, I was like scrolling through my Substack and I see my childhood friend writes about a song, wrote a dissertation about the Puerto Rico song. You probably have heard it. I've been to Puerto Rico. I think it's a catchy song that came up on Reel.
Oh, yeah.
You might have heard it. So he actually wrote down like what it actually means, and I was like, yeah, it's because we both grew up in Puerto Rico, and so we know this
Wow.
song. And I was like commenting, and then I went to see my other like an author friend, and you're writing about like ideas, and I was like commenting on that. And I was like, this is like what it meant to. I'm able to discover all the content in one place, and I'm able to comment to each other and talk to each other and then share with my friends so they can see the other things.
That's one of the things I absolutely adore about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sense of community. It's so awesome. Yeah. And seeing these different ideas out there that I
Yeah.
never would have come across on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just very cozy. So I've been
It's very
thrilled with it.
it's very
Yeah.
cozy and it allows you to discover new areas and new things, but also you can deep dive into some interests. Like, there's a great writing community, there's a great community for readers, there's communities for other creative hobbies and other areas or conversations about midlife and like this is where I am now. For conversations,
Yes.
like actually having conversations with people like people my age and having that as opposed to me like having watched Instagram being so like algorithm, like just putting it all together, like it feels the same because they all use the same trending sound, they all use the same thing. There's nothing unique about it unless you find one trend and you build a trend and stuff.
Right.
So
Right. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I'm still over there and I'll still see, like, I'll get some of the trends, I guess, and then I'll bring
yeah,
them over. But it's
yeah,
different when I see the trend there and then I bring it over here and then people's comments and it just grows. It's like very inspiring,
yes,
and it really gets the wheels turning in my.
yeah. Talk to somebody you're reading. Like, what kind of books do you personally read? Which ones are the ones that like what genres? What are your like go to? Like, you're like, okay, if I see it, I buy it, I read it, I love it, and I just keep
Right.
talking about it.
Right. It's definitely more contemporary fiction. I've always liked something a little newer. I do branch out into different genres, definitely. I do like romance, like rom-com more for romance. I'll do historical fiction unless it's really like a war. I mean, so a lot of what I read, it can be deep and it can be heartfelt and it can be grief, but it can't be too heavy. Yeah. Or and I read lighter things, but not too light. It has to have. I think what I really look for is the character arc. That's you know what I mean. I have to like hook in with the character. I have to be sad when the book's over, like they're my friend.
Yeah. So maybe a little bit what I consider upmarket fiction, like book club books or like buzzy titles. I feel like we're seeing them. We're like, okay, and they're not too sad. Not sad girl literature. There's a place for it. There's
Oh
a
yeah.
there's a time for sad girl literature, but
Oh
some
yeah.
you just
Yeah.
want to feel like, okay, they're my friends. I just want to see them grow, and I want to see them like have a little bit of messiness and then overcome it.
Exactly. Exactly. That's so satisfying.
So,
Right. But I mean, and I try to read as broad as I can, definitely. And I do. It's book club fiction, though. I know it. When you say that, that's basically because I do. I highlight the book clubs in my, and every time there is, I'm like, oh, that's a good one. I want to read that.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, that's definitely like fuzzy books like that. And I'm sure you can see that coming through on my Substack too. And I try to find some light things. It's kind of it's fun. Like book talk, I'm not really on the talk. My kids are, and I feel like I should get over there and see. But they brought forward some books that wouldn't have made it. I'm thinking like I haven't read Theo of Golden. You know what I mean? Like it brought forward even like the correspondent had some definitely grassroots.
yeah. Thing. I
Yeah.
was like a debut that I didn't hear about it until I started seeing it online a little bit more and more. I do have
Right.
the audiobook actually. It's on my list to listen to.
Yeah, I think that it would work better on audio. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
wrote an article about that. Or some books better on audio, some books to read. And I definitely think it's hard to tell before you get into the book, though, like which one. So I was trying to get Rex from people.
I for audio, I would mention duet or full cast audios are a great place to do audio first as opposed to doing the book because you get different people narrating it. It feels like a movie in your ears that you just like, immerse in it. That's a good place to get started. If you're like, okay, I have to choose, see if the audio has like the first one is I think it's full cast audio. So there's like different people narrating the different letters, different things. So it gives you that sense of like, oh my gosh, this is great. That's why Project Hail Mary is really good because it's very immersive in that space. It just gets you in that place. And yeah, so looking for that. There's also like, for romantasy and some they're starting to do for fantasy. They're doing something called graphic audio, which are it's kind of like it has some sound effects, it has information. It's like the production level is much more higher. It's like a radio soap. You know how I used to have in the 30s that kind of idea? Like they'll have like a TV show on the radio. It's similar idea. So
Oh,
that helps you kind of like immerse in that world. So if you're thinking about like, I want to try some fantasy romances, but I don't have the time to invest in the world building and stuff, I would say look for graphic audios. There's a great place to get started because you're just like it's a movie in your ears, and you feel like you feel the stress of the character.
yeah. Romantasy, wanting to get into it, and then I don't pick it up. So that would be a good
Yeah,
go.
it is a commitment, but most graphic audios are available from your library, like library purchases.
Mhm.
You might be able to get them from the library and stuff just to give them a try. But like, I think series like popular series have their graphic audio take of it, and so it gives you that opportunity to try it. So yeah,
And I love that. And I love that's trying to get out and people reading more. Do that. That counts.
yeah.
Now,
It does.
you're great literature and you're getting a performance. It's the arts.
Now, I am a believer. I used to believe that audiobooks didn't count. I hate to say this because now I only read audio. I used
I
to
love
be
that
like, I
too.
only read books. That was my 20 before 2020. And then I
Yeah.
actually started listening to books about like 3 years ago. And I just right now, I pretty much 99% consume in audio. My fun books, all audio. I read when I have to read for work, as I was sharing, but for the most part, if I get the audiobook, I prefer the audiobook because I can just listen to while chores or I can listen while I'm working out. But sometimes my best audiobook time is at night before going to bed. I have PTSD, so I have trouble sleeping. And so actually those nighttime stories is reparenting to myself, having someone tell me a bedtime story helps me fall asleep. And so audiobook is like has been a godsend.
Yeah. No, that's an excellent thing to do. I actually, yeah, I like listening to audio too. I have fallen asleep with them in my ears.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
so fascinating. You were saying that connection. And see, this is what I love about your like, I just wrote about this thing called bookending. Start your day with a book. And I still think audiobooks do count. And as an aside, I listened to The Devil Wears Prada, the first one, on the drive down to the beach to meet with friends. And I've always, I didn't really read the book. And now I'm like so
Book
mad at
is not
myself
that
for
good.
thinking that.
The book is not that
I did
great.
read the book.
Yeah, I read the book. I read the book when it came out in 2006. Just for that was chick lit. That was like the era where I read all these chick lit. And I
Yeah.
remember watching the movie, I'm like, the book is so different. And I love the movie so much more. And I've tried the author multiple times. I tried the follow up because there's a second book of Devil Wears Prada, the Derek
Yeah.
Connecticut. I've tried and I just cannot get into that.
I the
Like
movie.
the best friend storyline of her being an alcoholic. I was like, can't. No, I just don't make her bad. And
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
exactly.
the movie did a better job for that one. So yeah,
But yeah. Yeah. So as an aside, yeah, better. Some things are just better on audio or the movie, but yeah.
yeah.
But back to what you were saying about being read to at night. When I have this background in education, the little kids on preschool, and we do that, and we need to realize that we should bring some of these habits forward for ourselves. The book ending was like instead of looking at your phone, which obviously just has a bunch of stressful things on it, unless your book's on your phone. Start the day with a little, and then end the night too, because getting out of your own headspace and into a story is so good for you and naturally lets you fall asleep. I mean, that's why parents read to their kids at night take these things for granted and we forget about them. But to do that for yourself as an adult, like that's the real self-care right there. So
Yeah. All right, Audrey, let's start some book recommendations. What kind of books are you bringing up to recommend to us today?
well, so I was decided to go with the 5 that I've read, but I actually have a whole paper of books.
Yeah. I filled the entire paper. Oh my God. I love that.
And I'm actually a slow reader. Audiobooks has helped me out because it's in my ears and I can do other things. But when I read, we're about audio speed, book speeds too, it's like it's on one and my brain is on one. So I read very slowly. So I don't read a ton of books. So I try to really be very careful with what I pick. But I did. So like we should start with Fredrik Backman because he's one of my favorite authors. And he came out with My Friends that I just read here over the winter. I'll tell you, it's the way he writes. But you just wrote about translated books. And when I read A Man Called Ove, you knew it was translated because the writing was, I don't know, he's from Sweden. So it was like how IKEA things are simple and like to the point. But I do enjoy that. I don't know whether that's the cultural thing, you know what I mean? Like in the translation now, that's getting me thinking since I wrote that article. But yes, My Friends I really enjoyed. It's just a story and the character arc, the way he was able to present it. It was so heartfelt. One of the parts in it was the friend would say something like, "See you later." And he said, but what they really meant to say was, "I love you." And I was like, oh, how many times in life do people just say, you know what I mean? Oh, see you tomorrow. You know what I mean? But you know that they really care. So it was that kind of writing, like, just really hit me. So it was a good book. You have to kind of think. Like, Beartown was like my favorite of his, like with the hockey and everything. Like he had the whole town with a lot.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. I read over the winter, and I know now it's almost summer, but it's even for the winter, The Frozen River, or even like late fall, by Ariel Lawhorn.
Yeah.
That was good. I mean, and she based the character Martha Ballard off of like a real person who lived in Maine. And she's like a midwife. She's bringing the babies in like 1800s or late 1700s. And just dealing with, it's kind of like almost topical now. The men there are, her husband is like a great man, which is nice because I'm glad she balanced that out. But the other men, like there was some rapes. The girls were forced to have babies. Just thing. He's getting away with it because he's a judge, but she gets her revenge at the end. I don't want to spoil it, but I was like, oh, girl, you went there. So if you read it, but if not, read it. Or there's going to be a movie out. I think the movie's going to be spectacular too if they to the book. So yeah. And then like in my ears, I wanted something a little lighter because I had been reading kind of these heavier books throughout the winter because prior to that I had read Broken Country, which is set in England.
Yeah.
And dang, that was good. But that was heavy. Like, oh, it's like, oof, but so well done. And I loved hanging out with them in England and wishing I was there, like everything. Watching them and not living their drama because their drama was pretty heavy. And I had read The God of the Woods. So I like that one too. That was like summer camp. That's a good one for the summer to read.
Yeah.
You're looking for a summer book. The
And
God
the
of the Woods
was released. So so you should definitely read it before the Netflix adaptation comes out.
Oh, yeah. Because then you can, because I imagine, because it's already fit a lot of backstory in. That's the one thing about watching something on the screen is that you missed all the backstory. So if you have read it first, you fill it in as you're watching it. So I always enjoy that. So I wanted to lighten things up. So I had recommended Evvie Drake Starts Over by Linda Holmes.
Yes.
And it's good. I like it so much. It was so cute. It just made me so happy all the way through.
It's a good, if you don't think you're a romance reader, I think this is a good one that you want to read.
Yeah, I definitely, like, I have a friend who likes the 5 chili pepper things, and I was like, man, I have at it. That's awesome. But like, I think 1 or 2, 3 chili peppers mostly. So I need to stay in the story and then.
Yeah. Well, you might not want to try some of the books that I read. I'm not talking about for mafia romances. They're morally gray. They kill you and stuff. There's actually, I have a list. I have an episode. So one of my most popular episodes is about captive romance, kidnapping romances when you have Stockholm syndrome and you fall in love with it. I don't know why. I in my real life, please do not do this. But in my books, I'm like, yes, give me more.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like about books. Is like you could kind of like either, but not like
Yeah, when you're like, oh yeah, it's a red flag, ruby red flag.
But let me
But
read about it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I keep my romances a little lighter, but I totally have an appreciation for like, those kind of books for sure. So then, and so I followed up Evvie with Great Beautiful Life, Emily Henry, which I can't believe I hadn't read her yet. I don't know why she keeps skipping over me, but that was cute. That was well done. And right now in my ears, I have It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monahan. So that's people write, oh, I laughed out loud. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I never do. Guncle. But this one, like, the narrator's doing a good job. But I think I would enjoy even just reading it in my voice. But I literally am walking around the house laughing. Like, I think I'm listening to a funny podcast or something.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love Annabelle. I feel like she writes the best summer rom-coms. They're fun and stuff. I got to interview her a couple years ago, and I was like, "You're like my Ellen Hillerman. These are my summer rom-coms. These are the ones I actually want to look forward to." I have dogs waiting for me on the audiobook, ready to listen to it. They're just fun. They're like New England, small town, kind of like vibes around it. Older characters, they're not in their 20s. They're actually like 30s or even almost 40-year-olds who are like finding love, and it's just fun.
Yes, exactly. Like they're just so real. Which is like when I was listening to this, I was like, this dialogue is like some of the best. It feels like I'm like watching a reality show. Like it's so authentic.
Oh my god. And now I'm like, oh, do I need to re-listen to It's a Love Story? But no, it's okay. I got Dolly.
Well, Dolly all the time, right? She's out. Yeah. So I kept seeing this and I liked the cover and I was like, oh wow, this is so cool.
Have you read Nora Goes Off Script?
Oh no, I haven't, but
Thank you. That one you'll like. It's so funny. The setup is she writes a movie, like a love story movie, one of those like Hallmark movies and stuff, and the actor decides to squat in her guest house for the whole summer. And then they fall in love, and it was so when he's like, literally, he's a house guest. She has kids. She has good. And the character squats in her guest house for the whole summer. I'm like, if that, I'm like, no, that's a red flag. Like, go here's no home. Like, Joel be home to me.
But she falls in love with him. Perfect, and it works out. Right, exactly.
But it's so good. I feel like that book needs like her love too.
I will read that one. That one's going to go high on my list, especially for the summer, because I feel like I just want to keep it like all through the summer, and then I'll go dark in the fall again.
Yeah, that's a backlist. So that I don't think that's as popular as for other ones. So you should be able to get it from the library.
Oh yeah, well my Libby app is really what I listen to the ebooks mostly off of. Yeah. Now for Kindle books, my mom and I share a Kindle account, and she buys them, and I read them all for library. She's the reason I read so much, and she has great taste in books. So I'm always asking her. But lately, I've been finding them for her because I'm doing all this research, so she's enjoying that too. But
you're just telling her, Mom, here's the book list. Yeah, it's usually you have a book club for one, like a book club for two. So you have your own book club in your Kindle account.
So it's hard to have a book club with her, and she's already on the next one. So I want to discuss it with her. She's like, I've already forgotten that one because I'm on to this one. But I do have a book club with my daughter. We've been buying like hardback books.
How is that going? You guys read the Golden Girls Cozy Mystery, right?
We had the Golden Girls Cozy Mystery. That one was really cute. I like that one where it was like if you watch the Golden Girls either growing up or just the revamp recently, where that is like a comfort show for me. So reading that book, she did an amazing job because it felt like they were talking in my head. It was the show. Yeah. So yeah, and now we're reading like the follow-up. There's 4 men that do a show, and true story, it was around my birthday. I have a group of friends, and we get to decide what you do. And there's a place around here, New Hope area. You probably heard of Peddler's Village. Anyways, there was a show where they put on the Golden Girls, like the men were the actors, and the Golden Girls, and it was a murder mystery. So this book is like about these guys, but they're out in Palm Springs, California. It's a little
Okay.
heavier of a book, this one that we're reading, because it is difficult, like being part of the LGBTQ community. There's a lot of that, which is and realistic. I mean, her and I, we love watching Queer Eye, so it's similar.
Yeah. So if you want to see in Palm Springs and get that vibe, I think if you haven't read The Guncle by Rowley, I think you should definitely add that to your TBR. It's basically he's the gay uncle.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the mom, kid's mom passes away. And so I think the father is like on that right space. So he takes the kids to spend the summer with him in Palm Springs and they're grieving. And they're like, it's the Guncle. He's like, the gay uncle. And it's just really lovely. And Stephen actually does narrate, and they're just the Guncle goes abroad. So there's like a few years later, they go on Europe trip and stuff. And he have a children's book, like a 10-minute like children's Guncle book and stuff. But that's like similar vibes, and I think it might be like a really cool one. And it's bookmarking, it's book club fiction.
Oh,
So
yeah. I have
think
seen
it's
Guncle. I
right for you.
forgot I wanted to read that. Yeah, her and I would like that. Because, see, my daughter likes true crime. That scares me. So we've been trying to find for our book club where we are interested.
Yeah.
But she also, like I said, like watching all those shows. So, yeah, the Guncle, that'll be one that she'll enjoy. Because
If she does like true crime, but you don't want to do to be scared, I think Rachel Mills and The Falling Starlet might work for both of you.
Okay.
That's by Emma Mills, and it's a 2008 tabloid LA. Basically, it's you educate the youth about what happened in the odds, the tabloid culture, and stuff. The Fallen Starlet is a former Disney star who passes away, and her friend encourages all the people to actually figure out her murder. But it's a cozy mystery. It's similar to whatchamacallit, to like the Finley Donovan's, or like it's more cozy, not gruesome. Like it's you don't see the specifics, but you have the mystery aspect of it, and it's very like very LA, very 2008, very like funny, frothy book. But at the same time, you're solving a mystery, like a murder mystery.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Wait, what was her name again? Well,
I'll
send
say
it.
I'll send it over. But yeah,
Gonna
it's
go.
again, it's original. It's Rachel something and the Fallen Starlet by Emma Mills.
Thank you.
But yes, that's a fun one. I really enjoy that one. It's just like a fun Hollywood murder mystery.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Okay, I can do that. I don't mind a murder mystery. I think it's the true part that scares me.
Yeah, look for there's actually like a good. They're coming up a lot of them. They're when I consider mystery rom-coms are not. They're not as cozy as what we think of cozy mysteries, where they're set in a small town. Is specific. These are more like I don't know, or they call them millennial mysteries, which are mysteries that are set like in a bigger city, and there's like a little bit of there's murder, but you don't know the murder gruesome, the gory parts. You go around it and stuff. And the sleuth as the investigator is trying to puzzle it all together. It's like put the puzzle, like the pieces. And it's you sometimes you care about who did it. Sometimes you don't even care, but you love the vibes of the people and the group of people that you're solving the mystery around it. There's quite a few that they don't deal with the murder part. Like the murder is just like something that you have. It's a plot point, but it's not. We're not diving in detail. It's one knife. It's like one knife, not 5 knives.
Yeah, I get the Christie.
Yes.
Went back and Christie's. Yeah, they're just enjoyable. And yes, there's a of course. I mean, that makes the story and you're interested. But it's not like I'm waking up in the night thinking, oh gosh.
Yeah, like it's not a Karen Spotter. I love Karen Spotter, but Karen Spotter is like very gruesome about this specific. It's not in the other. It's like the Agatha Christie of it, but set it in the 2020s millennial. Activities around it.
Yeah, which is becoming time because we didn't have all these smartphones and everything. Figure stuff out. It feels like a whole nother lifetime.
Audrey, questions about your Substack. Tell us where you can find it and what readers expect from your Substack.
It's Bookish AF. They're on Substack. Basically, it's once a week on Wednesdays. I'd like to expand it to more, but for right now, every Wednesday you just get a whole rundown. I have a theme, so it just depends on. I pick a topic. You're always going to get book racks. That's usually the first part. I have a little welcome letter at the beginning, just kind of setting it up so you know what to expect. I would like it to be very skimmable. I'd like it to come into your inbox, something you look forward to, something you can share, maybe bookmark it for later so that when you're looking for a good book. And then even the book recs, I keep them to the paragraph because, I mean, basically, I'm rating this as if someone like myself. I don't have a lot of time to. Sometimes I do a deep dive, and I love reading people's thoughts. But if I'm looking for a book, or I just want to learn about something, I just want to be able to skim down it. So there's a little welcome, sets it up for you, and then the book recs, and then I like to also add in anything I found around the web that's interesting wise. If there's a movie coming out based on your favorite book and you didn't realize it, the book club books, the clubs come out with different things. They're hard to follow unless you're getting their newsletter or something. So it's like all right there for you. And then some reading tips I try to come up with in there, something to make your reading habit more enjoyable. And lots of times with the book recs, I try to make it fun, pair it with different things. Last year I did a fun one where I paired it with books with different wines, or in the fall I did your zodiac. I want to do more of that. Like for Mother's Day recently, I one where it was like what to do with your mom, take her out on a little book tour, book shop tour, and read and just different things. And then these are the books that you might want to read or buy for her. So I try to make it creative and fun and interesting, but still very skimmable. And I end with the quote of the week, usually from one of the books I feature, just for fun, something that, and I just want it to be like a little happy thing that comes into your inbox and inspires you to read more or think differently about your reading habit and find a book that you really love. And that's what it is. It's, I don't know. It's like my version of reading Rainbow, like when I was growing up,
Yeah.
where like the kids would go on and they would talk about their book and you'd be like, oh, I want to read that because they made it sound interesting. Still just quick enough so that you can just go through it. So that's Bookish AF.
I love this. Well, Audrey, thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This has been wonderful, and I really enjoyed talking to you of books. It's been super fun, and I learned something, and I have a book rec from you, so thank you.
Thanks for listening to the What to Read Next. For more book lists, cozy reads, and library tips, visit the whattoreadnextblog.com. Your next great read might be waiting there.